In this video, we are going to see how to implement circuit breaker pattern using Netflix Hystrix. So let's consider this use case where we have built a big application using these 6 microservices. The request comes at the service 1 and the request flows till service 6 either through service 4 or service 2, and the response is returned back to the caller. So in this kind of architecture, so what happens if the service 6 goes down? So when the service 6 goes down, all the requests which are at the service 3 and service 5 are going to timeout and will consume a lots of resource. At one point, what will happen is service 3 and service 5 will crash. So because of service 6, service 3 and service 5 got crashed. So now the dependent service 2 and service 3 are also going to crash because the threads are waiting here for the response from service 3 and service 5 respectively. So after that, what happens is, since the service 1 is dependent on either service 2 or service 4 calls, so since it didn't receive any response and the threads are waiting, and then they are consuming lots of memory because we have the application is having very high traffic. Let's say it's having 1 million requests per second. So in that case, what will happen is there will be out of memory error happens and the service 1 also crashes. So when the service 1 crashes, so whole application will get crashed. So as you can see that because of the failure of one microservice, whole system got crashed. So this kind of a scenario is called as the rippling effect or the cascading effect of a microservices failures. So one failure of a microservices resulted in a cascading effect of failures and resulted in the whole failure of the whole system. So to resolve such kind of a problem, the microservices pattern found a new pattern called as a circuit breaker pattern. So in this, what happens is the circuit breaker pattern provides a way to guard your application against faulty external systems. So in this case, the service 1, let's say making a call to service 2 is the external system for a service 1. So it provides a way to guard the service 1 against the faulty external services service 2. So this is little different from retries. So instead of retrying without having any logic, it has put some intelligence to whether to retry or not, and also it facilitates self-healing application. And also, if the one service is not working, it also provides an provision to use another similar service, and also it has a capability to stop using some service till some timeout occurs. So how does the circuit breaker pattern works? So circuit breaker pattern has 3 main states, which is closed, open, and half open. So the first state, which is the normal state, is a closed state when the pattern will be in a closed state when it is serving all the requests. So when the application is running fine. So but as the number of failures increases, and the number of failures cross some threshold limit, what it will do is it will move status from closed to open. So whenever the state is open, in that case the request will not go to the next service. It will just immediately return the error to the caller without even making a call to the next service. So another very interesting state is half open. After a certain amount of time, what this pattern will do is it will allow some request to flow through and to check if the problem still exists. If the problem still exists, what will do is it will go back to the open state. Otherwise, it will break that half open state to closed state, making it a normal state, which is allowing the applications to work properly. So we can relate this pattern to this particular electricity which we see in our home. Let's say there is a cell which is attached to a bulb. So the current will flow only when the circuit is closed. If the circuit is open, the current will not flow. The same way, when the pattern is in an open state, it will not make calls to the next service. It will just return back the error condition or some other similar condition. So there are many implementations of this circuit breaker pattern. One of them is Akka's circuit breaker, and another one is Netflix, Hystrix. So this is what we are going to explore, how to use this along with the Spring Boot. And also Apache Polygen circuit breaker is also present. And there are many other implementations. You can Google and you will find it out. And the easiest way is you can do your own implementation, because it's not something which is very complex. It's very easy. So Netflix Hystrix is a is a open source software which is provided by Netflix. It protects your application against adverse integrations. So let's say you have integrated your service to some other service which is not properly tested, which usually goes down. In that case, we will use a Hystrix, and then it also provides a way to record a performance statistics of all the integrations, and also it has a dashboard which will tell what all current circuit status is, and statistics also it will tell. And then it also prevents your application from cascading failures and build more resilience. So to test this, what are we going to do is we are going to develop one weather service. We are going to develop 3 microservices. One is a weather service, and another one is a temperature service, and the another one is humidity service. Given a pin code, what it is going to do is it is going to call temperature service to get the temperature, and the humidity service to get the humidity of the city. And then in return, it is going to return the city name, temperature, and the humidity. So if any one of the temperature service fails, so using Hystrix, we will see how we can return a default value, and then avoid timeouts which are shown in the UI. Let's start by creating a project for it, Spring Starter project. So what I am going to do is I will create a project. Sorry, like that service, and then package whatever it is, and I will take Spring Web Starter, and I will use Lombok, and also I need Hystrix. Let me keep both, and then you can see that it will create a project. And then similarly, let me create other 2 projects. This is temperature service, and then it will require web starter, and then Lombok. And I will need another service which I'm going to call it as a humidity service, and I will need Lombok and this, and I'm going to finish. So first what I will do is I will code the basic things, and then so let me add one temperature controller, and I will define this as REST controller, request mapping, and I will have one list, maybe not a list. I need to have a map. So basically it's gonna store the city's name and the temperature. And I will have one method which will and also I will use Lombok's facility. Output, maybe I will say Delhi, I will say 40 degrees Celsius. I will put Bangalore 20 degrees Celsius, and I will return get temperature, get mapping, for the city, path variable, and this is going to be this. Okay, so this is just going to return now for dot get the city. Okay, so that's it. Now I need to, I'll just put server dot port is equal to, maybe I will make it as a 9091. Okay, and so similar way I'm going to code for humidity also. So I just copied that class, and then I just rename this humidity controller. Okay, one more thing I forgot to do is I need to weather city. So here it should be humidity, and then temperature controller I need to make it as a weather. That's it. And so here what I will have is, maybe I'll make it as a 60% humidity, and for Bangalore maybe I'll make it as 79%, and then this is fine. Get, it doesn't matter what is the name of the method. So, and I will make this server dot port is equal to 9092. So this is done. So now I'll start coding how my weather service is going to look. So first let me put the server dot port 9090, and then I will create weather controller, and then I will create a service, weather service, and another class I will have is humidity service. So here what I will do is I will make this as a service, and then I will use REST template, and I will make this as a auto wired. This is one. So similar way there will be weather service. Let me finish one guy so that I can copy, and then as usual we use SLF4J, and then I will create one DTO object weather, and then it will have data, private strings, city, private string, temperature, string humidity, and this is fine. And here what I'm going to do is I'll say REST controller. I think I have made some mistake. Let me see what I have. Temperature controller, yeah. So I should have made it, it has temperature. It's my bad. Okay, and then so here I will again have that mapping of pin code versus. So basically, this will the okay. Let us first code it. Then you will understand. Hash map. Okay, public init. Post construct and SLF4J init started. Then I'll say map dot put 100 and why this came as computing. And then I will say Delhi and I will say for 200 I'll put Bangalore. Okay, so now I also need to have private temperature service. So this should be again don't know why I'm getting confused between temperature and weather. So here temperature service and I'm going to say admired. So here public, this is returning a weather, get weather or path variable in code. Okay, and get mapping. This will be pin code. And now what I'm going to do is I need to call temperature service to get the temperature. So what this service is going to do is it is going to call the temperature service and then get the temperature. So what I'm going to do is REST template dot for object. The URL would be http localhost 9091 temperature slash. So here I'm going to enter city and this is going to be a string dot class and this will be the temperature. And I think I need not have to do anything here. That's it. So this is what it is supposed to do. So similar way will be for humidity service also. So get humidity, and then for this maybe it will run in 9092, and then humidity. This is perfectly fine. So there is a temperature service, there is a humidity service, and weather controller. I need to do a similar thing for private humidity service, and I'm going to call this as a provide city is map dot get pin code. Okay, I'll say info for city, and I'm going to mention what is the city name. Okay, so weather is this, and then let me replace this with that. Okay, fine, and then now I will take temperature service dot get temperature city, and I will log this also. Temperature for the city is a similar way humidity. So I will say humidity service get humidity, and then humidity for this, and it's going to set this value weather dot set humidity this weather dot set temperature, and this is going to return the weather object. As simple as that. So I hope you are following what I am trying to do. So it got, so basically the request is made to weather controller, and then it will make get a temperature from temperature service and humidity from humidity service, and it will put it inside a weather DTO, and then it will return. So let us try to okay, so before this I need to make, so as of now we will not do anything. We'll just first start the applications. So let us start the applications. Okay, it started. Now let me start the temperature service application, and then let me start humidity service application also. Temperature service started, humidity service application also started. You can see that all the three services are running. So now if I try to access the URL in in the browser, then we will see whether we are able to access it or not. So let me open the browser and get it. So here you can see for city Delhi this, where it is this. So maybe I will put 200. So this is fine. So now what I am going to do is I'm going to stop the one of the service. So for example, I will stop humidity service. So now if I hit it, so what will happen is you can see that the application is not returning, and maybe after some timeout, what it will do is it will say connection reset. I think I made a mistake. I stopped all the application. Let me restart only weather application and maybe temperature service. Weather service and the temperature service. Let me restart. So all the things are running. So now what we are doing is we started the all the three applications. So now what I will do is I will stop humidity service application and I will refresh again. So when I do this, you can see that it is not able to connect to this application because this has the service is down and the error is thrown at the browser itself. So to avoid this kind of situation, what we will do is we are going to configure all these applications with the Hystrix. So here you can see that the exception is thrown. So what I will do is I will configure my weather service to be enable the Hystrix. Enable Hystrix. I will put enable Hystrix dashboard also, and that's it. And now what I'm going to do is I need to specify a default values here. I need to say Hystrix command and I need to say default fallback. I will define the same method, but I will say it as a fallback, and I will have same method, but it will have a same signature, but it will have maybe it will say uh, service down, value not available. So this is one. So similar way I will do it for this also, and I will say default callback and I will define it as fallback. Humidity fallback, and same thing I'm going to say it as that's it. And now when I try to start the service, it should give me proper errors. So now what I will do is I will stop all the applications. So now what I will do is I will start weather service application and I will start temperature service application, and I'm not starting weather service. Sorry, I'm not starting humidity service. So now when I start it, so it is telling something. Let me see. Temperature fallback didn't find. Why is it telling like this? Let me check it. Okay, so now what I have done is I have started only two services now. One is uh, the weather service and temperature service. So now what we are going to do is we are going to access the URL in the page. So as you saw before, when we accessed, it was showing a 500 error. So now when I access this, so what it will do is it will say humidity service term value not available. So you can see that the value of fallback method is used. So I was using a default fallback method, which is wrong. So I had to use a fallback method. So now when I done this, so this method is getting called. So now if I make the temperature service also down, so what it should do is it should definitely let me open another tab. It should definitely say for both the temperature and humidity. So without showing the errors in the browser, it is telling that service is down, and then some default value is getting displayed.